This is to show you how to mount a Hall effect type sensor for a front wheel speed sensor. This one happens to be a cherry sensor that I ordered from DigiKey. There's the part number right there, about $50. And this is for a Wilwood front brake setup, typical 4-piston Wilwood. And what I wanted to do was, this type of sensor does not need magnets, it just needs a ferrous material. And these bolt heads right here, there's 8 of them that hold the rotor on, and they line up close enough to the hole in the back of the backing plate that holds the caliper. That hole right there was the perfect size for this sensor, and it lined up with those. So I ordered a tap, and that tap was a metric 12 by 1.0 thread, and I just tapped that hole right out. Didn't have to drill it or anything. It was the perfect size. Tapped it out, and the sensor will screw right into it. It's all tapped out, and the sensor screws right in. You use the jam nuts, secure it in there. You can set the depth for the right height off of those bolt heads, and it will develop a signal for the ECU. In this case, it's a Holley Dominator, and here I have it temporarily wired up. There's 3 wires. You've got a ground, I used a 12-volt signal or a 12-volt voltage supply, and then the signal wire. So I'm going to go ahead and spin up the rotor, and that very bottom one is the front wheel speed sensor, and you can see it picking up a signal and reading. So that's super easy. It's almost like Wilwood designed that for a wheel speed sensor in there, which is very convenient. And you can see the temporary wires there. And then I'm going to go ahead and wire it into the car, and this shows the final installation. So I heat shrinked the end of the connector, zip tied it up to the brake line so that it will move and follow the suspension. The brake line gives it some rigidity so it doesn't flop around. You can see it coming underneath here. Then I used a weather pack, 3-pin weather pack connector. So if you need to change the sensor or something, just unplug it and swap it out. So that's it, again, for a typical Wilwood 4-piston setup, front wheel speed sensor install. Thanks.